Studio in the Woods 2017 is an evolution of the ones that have happened previously, and it's about 70 students that come to this place, and I introduce the programme, which is a kit of parts, which are some trees and some time with a mobile sawmill. There are 5 groups that then present an idea. A tutor says what they hope to explore over the course of 2 days, and then each student will elect to be in an individual group led by an architect or several architects. Then over the course of 2 days, that group will design and construct something with that timber in this woodland.
Oh yeah, no, we've got maybe I can have one more in here, possibly. I just wanted to do. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that needs to come up. It was always wrong, that.
So there were 5 groups this year. Gianni Botsford and Darby led one, and they've led a group every year that Studio in the Woods has happened over the last 12 years. And they have a very particular starting point, which is the exploration of light. And they work with something that they call constructed analysis. So every year they build something that is a tool to understand or measure an aspect of this place. They made a measure of the patch of daylight in the canopy above. There was also Ivett, who are Barbara Kaucky, Susanne Tutsch, and they made an amazing prehistoric, almost, bridge along 2 trees, which met like 2 extraordinary claws, and then you travelled along its back, this amazing journey in the trees. It was a sort of woodland bridge. There was also a new group this year, which was Fergus, Feilden and Juhasz from Feilden and Clegg Bradley. And they made a veil that wrapped an ancient oak tree that had died, and this carcass was sitting in the woodland, and they enveloped it with this extraordinary screen, which could almost have been a found object that a forester had made to protect the tree, or an extraordinary art piece that had been carefully curated, and it moved between those 2 distinct universes. There was also another newcomer, which was Ivett from Baxendale in Glasgow, and he paired up with Jay, Anne from Studio Weave, and Lynton from 00. And Jay has been coming a long time, and he always does something very poetic, and he's incredibly freewheeling, and there's always a party atmosphere down there. But actually, the marriage of him and Lee was something interesting, because Lee is a real pragmatist, he's a real grassroots community activist, and in a way Lynton brought a real analytical bent to the work that they did. And they made a beautiful, huge geodesic dome that was tied together with cable ties, and a tower with a swing that was hanging from inside the dome that wrapped around several trees. And then there was the group that I ran with Meredith Bowles, and alongside us for support we had Laura Mark and Zoe Berman and Charley Brentnall. And we did a piece of work that has grown out of research I've been doing for the last 10 years or so, which is how can you accrue a piece of architecture. So we made a grid shell, and we started with a mat of laths, and through the process of lifting it from a set of ropes that we'd rigged in the tree canopy, we effectively accrued this structure, and then we added in stiffening and bracing. So collectively, each person designed this by adding in layers and layers and layers of personalised bits of bracing into this piece, which we could never have conceived of in advance. I think what's lacking in architectural education is a sense that the project can become the vehicle. There's always a sense of the expert who's the tutor, and then you as a student that effectively subsumes yourself into that tutor's identity. Here, the project becomes the vehicle for collective learning. You work on a project together. You're guided and nudged along by a tutor who might have expertise in certain ways, but you, as the student, are using that project to develop your own learning. And it really is learning by doing in every sense of the word.